Hello Libras, welcome to a next 3 months reading. So we're going to look at 6 different areas for the upcoming 3 months. We're going to do one card per deck in each area, and then I'm going to ask the angels to just provide a few charms. If you don't like to watch the process, I do timestamp below, so please jump ahead to each of the 6 chapters here to receive your messages. So we'll dive in. So as I get the cards here, I'll kind of walk you through what we're going to do and talk about. So we're going to look at your home environments. So those are your 2 primary home environments where you spend the bulk of your time, how you split it. So it could be home and a second home, could be home and travel, could be home and workplace. So how those messages connect to those environments. We're going to talk about and look at yourself. So kind of what your head and heart, your emotions and your thoughts are focused on at this time. That always leads into one of your heart's wishes that the angels are working on at this time. So they'll let you know what that is, and any kind of advice or requests of you. Sometimes we need to kind of keep helping them out down here with our wishful intents. Sometimes we need to take action. Then we're going to head down into this bottom row. And we're going to talk about something that you're expecting. You know, we place expectations on self and on others and on situations. We're going to talk about something you don't expect, you know, get you prepared. And then we're going to peek ahead to the future. It could just be the next 3 months coming up. It could be next year. We'll kind of see how the reading goes, but that's just what's possible now, what's in the future now. And we'll kind of see how free will and power of manifestation and positive thinking plays a role in that. Let's get some charms. Okay. Discarding what they don't want. I'm going to pause when I feel movement, and I always try to turn my hand so you can see the charms and not my fingers, because my fingers don't move. It's the charms that move. They're the fun stuff to watch. Okay. I'll fix those up when I tune into the charms. Just see what we're getting here so far. They've been nice to give me just 1 or 2 per, which is good. Just feeling some movement here, some shifting. Okay. I wonder if there's a reason why your charms aren't really staying on the cards and they're falling off here, unlike the other readings so far. See if the grapes want to fall or they're just pushing them out of the way. Okay. And I can feel some movement by my thumb. I'm just asking if there was reason why everything was kind of falling, not in place, but kind of off. I wonder if you feel like that. I wonder if you're feeling a bit off, Libras. Maybe you feel like not everything's in its place right now. Maybe you're trying to organize. And a lot of the charms fell out upside down too. Maybe, you know, like I was saying, maybe your world is feeling like that. Maybe it's feeling upside down or turned around. A lot of out of place here and upside down. Okay. Everything was kind of upside down. It's nice though. We're starting to get some charms I haven't seen in a while. So thank you, Libra, for that, to bring them out for me. Starting with your home environments, we have a sense of laziness and you're not manifesting anything here. So you're not really taking action. You're not really pushing anything forward here. That's not necessarily a negative thing. It could just mean that July, August, September is your period of repose. You know, this is when you are just hanging out at home, laying around, doing what you want, easy pace. That's all this means. Taking it easy. And like I said, this is, you're not manifesting, you're not being very proactive or active at this time, which again can be okay if that's the vibe that you're looking for July, August, September. So let's see. I'm all for the easygoing, relaxed lifestyle, so I'm there with you. I'm not a Libra, but I'm there with you. Okay. Yeah, there's just this calmness. So, either this is when you take vacation from work, or everything's just quiet at work because everybody else is on vacation, or, clients are away, whatever you do for work, it just feels like work environment, both environments here, work or both homes or home and camp. Just a very quiet period here for you, just calm and quiet June, July, August, which is nice to see. Actually, this whole kind of group that I sat down, Cancer, Capricorn, Pisces, there's been this kind of quietness around the homestead here. She's just quietly walking her perimeter. Maybe she's just pulling weeds, tending to her garden. Again, just doing what you like, right? Watching the moon at night, maybe sitting by the fire, who knows? But just quietness. Quiet, relaxation, not too overly active. Peaceful period here for you Libras. So yourself, so we have this good balanced pace, my pendulum, it just tick tock, right? Just quiet again, just the quiet swinging back and forth, a good pace, a good sense of balance, day in, day out from this period. There is a call here to be out in nature, the witch. Connect your feet to the ground. A call to be a little bit social. So, don't go too quiet. So maybe you're hoping for or looking forward to just little moments of socialization that resonate well with the kind of pace here that you're looking for. Okay. Maybe that's why there was a call to get out in nature. Because I am drawn to sort of this crying in the hand. It looks like she's wiping her tear over here with cloth. So um, maybe the quietness is introspection. I don't think that you're physically crying. I think you're just probably in your head. You're just in quiet emotions. Um, Other people might be asking you, "Are you okay?" Because you might just be quiet in demeanor. So they might be like, "Are you okay? You haven't talked to me in a bit. It might be the children in your home or your partner, right, coming around and saying, "Are you okay?" But you were just sitting quiet. Um, I don't see you doing an activity like we saw here. You're not reading a book or anything. You're just kind of sitting quietly. Maybe you were just enjoying the warmth of the sun and kind of lost yourself in your thoughts, and then they came by and was like, are you okay? you know um, yeah, there's a lot of introspection. Look how closely she's inspecting this pentacle here. So putting your bare feet like on grass or on ground, on wood, in the warmth, having bare feet in the sun that's streaming through your window, or stepping out with bare feet onto a front step or driveway or patio. Just connecting to an earth element is going to help you with this introspection that you're going through. This kind of quiet resetting of your internal balance. Maybe you're thinking through some recent events or feelings and just kind of working through that, but you're doing so with a very sane kind of thought process, a very stable, calm emotion about it. Okay, so the globe, my world here. Um, well, it is being lost in daydream. You're thinking about your whole world. So maybe that's the pentacle here, and your angels are reflecting that they know that that's where your headspace is at. This is also a sense of feeling off, feeling not in balance. So maybe that's why you're so focused on this introspection. So again, your angels are acknowledging that you're seeking this balance. You're trying to find this equilibrium, right? You're trying to get your world to spin and sit on its axis the way that you kind of want it. The world is also a sign of coming out of a period of loss. They may have lost a connection. And a connection could be anything, a person, a place, a pet. And it could be any level of connection, right? It could just be, a coworker moving on, sort of that level of connection, a boss moving on. But it does connect to your world. So it's a significant enough of a loss that it did impact your world, and maybe that's what triggered the introspection. Maybe that's why the angels chose the globe charm for that duality of messaging, because I have other charms that talk about just kind of seeking balance or kind of feeling a bit awkward at this time. So your heart's wish is really seeking balance, getting your world back to kind of your happy place. Maybe that's why you're so quiet in your home environment, because you're not really engaging, right? You're up in your headspace here. So your angels are encouraging you to voice here, to talk. Once you come to your kind of conclusions there of what you need for balance, make sure you're voicing it to whoever you need to achieve that. It doesn't necessarily mean it's somebody living in your home. It could be reaching out to external help. It could just be asking for help in order to reset everything, reset your balance here. But without this conversation, without turning on your throat chakra, the angels won't be able to bring in the help. The peace and the help here, the olive branch. So that's the request here from the angels. We can help restore your world. We can help restore your balance, your emotional balance, your sense of self. I feel more so just sense of self balance. Your whole self. We can restore that, but you have to be asking for help, or you need to start a conversation here. So reaching out to someone to ask for help to open a conversation up, or doing your best to speak up, talk about your needs, get something off your chest, in order for your angels here to help fulfill the wish. What you expect. So you're expecting some kind of negative, usually this is negative influence, but maybe this is a negative response, right? Because it's a crab, so it's going to snap. It's going to be reactive, right? It's going to, instead of waiting to see that you just want to pick it up and help it across closer to the water, it's just going to claw at you. It's just going to grab at you, just going to snap. So I'm really leaning into the snap. So what you expect, and maybe that's why you haven't had a conversation, is you expect to have this sort of quick lash out, this quick snap at you. And crabs usually retreat back and kind of hide under the sand, right? Or maybe that's just sand crabs. So snap and then kind of retreat is kind of what you're expecting here when you reach out. The swan charm is about self-confidence and knowing your worth. But you're expecting a negative response. So maybe this is someone that you see in this way. Someone who is so beautiful to you. So that could be like a partner. So maybe that's why you're quiet, because you're afraid that if I say anything, then the partner's just going to snap at me again. This is a pretty significant person to you, though, because it is a swan, and swans mate for life. They're a partner here, so that's a deep love connection, a friend maybe you're struggling with, a relative, like I said, a partner. Some kind of relationship struggle here where you think they're just going to snap at you. I feel like think another reading I had these exact two cards together. I don't know. Oh, no, maybe not. I had these two cards though. Okay. I mean, if you're curious, I won't look back, but I did Cancer, Capricorn, Pisces, and now I'm doing Libra. So it's in Cancer, Capricorn, and Pisces. These cards came out. I don't know if they came out together like this though. Yeah, so I actually want to move them sort of this way. It's like you desire sort of this calmness from them, and you expect that when you kind of come in with your calmness, instead of them mirroring it and matching it, they're just going to come in charging, like ready to fight, right? Like you have your bow and arrow, like you'll battle if you have to battle, but your intent is not to get into battle here, where your expectation is that they're going to come at the ready here. They're ready to attack. They're ready to get you. So maybe you think there's a grudge here, or maybe they're known to hold a grudge, this person, because like I said, you know them really well. You know this person really well. So that's why you're expecting this snapping. Okay. So you want peace and harmony. You want peace and harmony to your world. You spend a lot of time in your head thinking about this, so try to get out in nature for some additional kind of energetic boost and support as you gather your energy and strength to come down here and have this conversation. You expect to have the conversation. You know, you see that here in the first card. You were coming in prepared for battle, but you don't want battle. So you are expecting in July, August, September to have your courage to do this. So maybe that's why you've been quiet. You've been quietly contemplating, how do I approach this? Okay. So what you don't expect. So my grapes are a change in perspective. So maybe what you don't expect is this person has already had a change in perspective or is willing to. What you don't expect is also incoming like abundance and wealth, right? The grapes produce wine. They're a source of food. So what you don't expect is maybe to be pleasantly nourished from this conversation, to actually have a pleasant outcome here. I think maybe also what you don't expect is they might make the first step. They might actually reach out to you. Or what you don't expect is how small of a step you have to take. You might be thinking through different ways to approach them. And probably the smallest approach, the smallest gesture is what's needed here. The other message this could be is it's actually walking. So you might have to close the distance between the two of you. So you might actually have to step into their energy physically, just kind of show up. I think you will be pleasantly surprised. I don't think you're going to get this cold snap of a reception. Yeah, they're pulling back the curtains here. They're revealing to you. They're answering all the whys that you have. They're also pulling back the curtain to let you in. So if you think that they're not going to let you in, they're there, right? He's sitting on the step, greeting you. He's not behind the door locking you out. He's there waiting. Not the pleasant of smiles, but you already kind of expect a reception, but it's not cold. He's just kind of sitting there contemplative, almost the same as you, right? You're sitting there looking at your money. He's sitting there holding his money. So I think you both have been thinking about the same thing. And I think that's probably why it's going to be tentative, right? She's shyly pulling the curtain back. So it's going to be a slow, maybe quiet greeting, grumpy old grandpa here. He's saying hi to you, but he's not saying, hi, come in for coffee. It's more of, hi, I see you're here, why? And then you're going to have this conversation that will lead to the coffee and the cakes here, right? The big dinner at the end. the opening of the door and the walking in that we see here in the charms. So again, it wasn't cold snap, it was semi lukewarm and curious, what I want to say. So not anger, more curiosity. Hi, you're here. Why? Okay, so if we're heading down this path for the next 3 months, where is it leading? What are some possibilities here in the future? I was going to go down to the fish, but I have my bird kind of scissors here, but they're not open like my other scissors, and that's what the angels wanted to reinforce for me here. So there could be, the opportunity, the possible future is the reconnection, but not fully closed, right? So there is some trust, probably some lingering hurt. I did say here it was going to be slow. So the reconciliation, the scissors here are slowly closing, but it's possible. So reconciliation is possible. And then there's bravery to kind of go against the flow here, swim upstream, create a transformation, influence transformation, having the courage to push forward this transformation, this reconciliation. Because I think the reconciliation is going to lead to a different kind of defined relationship, right? The relationship is going to be new, but you have to have the bravery for that. And he's pointing at this abundance again, right? The fish was always pointing back at this abundance. So if you have the courage and the bravery to push through a slow reconciliation, the massive transformation of what your relationship will be on the other side is going to be quite abundant and fruitful for the both of you if you're willing to keep pursuing that as the future end goals here. And then both cards are celebrating. We have the pouring of water here from cup to cup. We have the drumming, we have the celebration. Again, if you're willing to kind of push through the emotions, right, hot and cold, push through the hot and cold moments that you're going to be going through, the outcome is quite beautiful. She's standing here in the Garden of Abundance, the same card that we just had in the Pisces reading about rejoining the Garden of Abundance. So, you and this individual can be headed to that place again as well together. They're drawing me down to the yellow flower down here. Yellow flowers are always a sign of friendship. So again, this reconciliation of a friendship, this new blossoming of the friendship. But there's this really strong positive outcome here as a possible future. Again, it's going to take courage to want to change and transform your dynamic with this person together. You're going to have to change. They're going to have to change. There's going to be a lot of conversations about this. It's going to be a slow coming together, a slow reconciliation. There will be hot and cold moments, but if the two of you persevere and are willing to have the courage and bravery to just kind of change and adapt and transform together, the evolution of your relationship is going to be so much greater, so much stronger, so much more wealthy and healthy for the both of you. So let's connect in at your next upcoming 3 month reading. So August, September, October, and we'll kind of see where you're at here, Libra, in this story.